Here today with my good friend Joshua, and he's a marketing guru. He happens to be working in a business right next to my studio here, and that's kind of how we met. But we thought we'd take a few minutes today and talk about what he thinks is important in marketing the businesses that he works for. He's run his own marketing company. He is also currently employed as the marketing director of a chiropractic clinic that does more than just chiropractic. You guys do some physical therapy. You said you have some nutrition stuff, and then you guys do massage.
Yeah, multidisciplinary. Yeah, we're kind of all over the place there. So
that's really cool. It's a lot of stuff to market, a lot of different ways to go about it, and that's kind of what we're going to talk about today. One of the reasons that I wanted to get Joshua on Film Talking is because if you want to be successful in business, one of the secrets is to find somebody who's running a successful version of your business and copy what they do. And in the dance studio industry, sometimes that's hard to do. Obviously, at our website, that's part of what the gap we're trying to fill. But if you can't find somebody who's trying to do exactly what you're doing, you can find somebody who follows a similar business model and sort of focus on the universal principles that they're using and see how you can apply them to yours. And so I think that actually the chiropractic office, massage therapy places, even personal trainers have a lot in common with our business model, and that's sort of the justification for having him come in and talk today. Ultimately, you need to get people in the door, you gotta get the phone to ring, you gotta get them signed up, and then you wanna keep them coming back. And that's something that Josh is kind of an expert in, and I thought we'd start there today.
Sure.
Josh, just tell us a little bit about your own, I mean, I kind of introduced you, but tell us a little bit about your own experience, and then maybe you can start talking about what you feel are the most important things for marketing a business.
Yeah. Well, the way that I got started in entrepreneurship was a lesson in marketing. I got involved in a business at a pretty young age. I was 24-ish. I was going to school at the time and had no background in business at all, but got involved in a business that was very marketing centric, and I completely ran it into the ground in record time. I mean, I don't mean to brag, but I don't know that there's many people that could have done it quite as fast as I did. So
Good for
I learned.
Fail fast and often is one of our mantras. Like,
that's
as
a
long
great
as you're
one.
learning from it and it's not the same failure every time, keep it up.
Well, I stepped into that in a hurry, and concluded just by my results equally quickly that I just didn't know what the heck I was doing, and so I learned that marketing education at that point was going to be the key to being able to move that thing forward. And to make a very long story short, I started to educate myself in how marketing works, and essentially that expanded into sales development and business development, so that the whole front end of a business, that whole idea of revenue generation, became something that I was just very passionate about and very interested in. And I managed to have some success and do very well that way. And so,
Good.
So at this point, I've applied that fascination to a variety of different business models. E-commerce, which is essentially you're engaging with people with websites and they're purchasing online without really talking to you. To service-based businesses, dance, chiropractic,
right.
Consulting, things of that nature. So I've had the opportunity to apply that framework and that passion to a lot of different businesses and business models. And like you said, the big idea here is to find people who really be found by people, and have them come to you, interested in what you got, and then have them keep coming back.
I think if there's a key difference between people who are doing well in marketing and those that aren't, it's that those that educate themselves do better than those who do not. It's really, really hard. Ideas are never the problem. You can have the best idea on the planet, and without a system for marketing and managing the business that supports it, it's still not going to go as far as you want it to do. So the value of your education, I think, is, for me, that's the most important thing. And I know Warren Buffett is big on that as well. Somebody asked him one time if he had lost everything that he had, or it was taken away from him, what would he do? And he says, well, I hope with the knowledge that I have somebody to give me a job. The point being that the most valuable asset that I think that you have as a business owner is the education and experience, because no matter what happens, you can go do it over again if you need to.
Yeah, that knowledge is something that no one can ever take away from you, and I found that in my life, through ups and downs, successes and failures, that having that knowledge has been the go-to foundation for everything.
Yeah.
and it served me well.
You know, and another important thing too is the idea that the people who are willing to admit that they have failed are generally more adept at learning and applying the lessons. Those that want to say that they've never failed or say that they've never done anything wrong are the first guys that I don't trust in the guru market. So learning from those lessons, I mean, that's an actual skill. You can't do everything perfect all of the time. And let's sort of move from there. You're talking about the mindset, the right mindset that you have to have as a business owner, as a marketing manager. There's a big gap between chiropractic businesses or dance studios that are successful and those that are not. And I hear all the time from studio owners that advertising or marketing doesn't work, or they've tried it and it hasn't. What do you have to say about the mindset of the business owner in that capacity?
That most things work, or really all advertising works at some level. That's the thing. Now, it may not be an acceptable level, and that's probably what that business owner's talking about. That, hey, if I go and I buy a billboard for my dance studio, the likelihood of that being a high ROI type of endeavor is low.
Okay.
So if I put a sticker on my car, that's just low. And what that goes into, my personal discipline, my expertise really relies on a certain type of marketing, which I call performance marketing. And I call it that, and lots of other people, I didn't invent that term at all.
Okay.
But really, some people refer to it as direct response advertising, but really this idea of performance marketing is being able to attribute a dollar spent on advertising to a dollar in revenue or a specific action that eventually equals revenue for the business.
I think a lot of times people think marketing doesn't work because they are not tracking it. They don't have any idea if, whether it's a billboard or a brilliantly executed Facebook marketing plan, somebody comes into the studio, that person doesn't ask how is it that you found out about our program or anything like that. They don't have any idea if it's working or not. So this is a real key here. You want to know that I think maybe what I'm trying to say is marketing is not an expense, it's an investment.
Totally. And you should go into this with an expectancy that it yield for you. Now, the problem is a lot of business owners, they'll say, well, I hope Yelp ads work, so I'm going to go throw $500 at it.
Okay.
And at the end of it, kind of tell, well, did my phone ring more? Did it not? I had a few people come in, but they don't have a real clear idea of exactly, you spent $500, what did you get back from that directly?
Right.
And if you don't have a way, whenever the way that you make these things successful, or really in my experience, anything successful, is you have to set it up right.
Okay.
The way that making an impulsive decision to just go throw some money at some channel, this happens a lot. They go and they get an offer, from GoDaddy to go spend a couple $100 on AdWords, and they say, "Oh, great! I'll put my $100 in too, and I've got 200." And they do it, and they kind of go through, and they're like, "Well, I don't really know what happened from that."
Right.
And so setting this up right, and that's really the key when you talk about education. That's a big part of that, is understanding how to structure advertising correctly from the get-go, so that you know whether or not it's working. Okay. There's lots of different geographic areas where people have dance studios, lots of different markets people are in, and I can't tell you for sure if AdWords is going to be the answer for you or Facebook's going to be the answer for you. The problem is, do you know? And if you don't know, if you have no way of knowing after you invest your money, you wasted your money. So the way that advertising always becomes valuable is the results. The results will always teach you something. And if you don't give it that opportunity and structure it in such a way that it can teach you something, then you have wasted your money. If you succeed and you have more money, you still don't know. All you did was throw some money at an advertising channel and it just happened to work out. That's called getting lucky.
Yeah.
If you fail,
which happens.
Which does happen, right? I mean, it's a thing.
Yeah.
The other side is that if you fail, it's not really a failure if you're able to learn something and improve from that. So you say, I structure this so that I have a trackable phone number, or I'm tracking my form submits, or however many leads I'm getting from this, or how many takes that I have off of Groupon, or whatever it is. And then I understand that X number of those people are going to convert into paying clients, and that X number of clients are going to stick on the books for an average of this long. Mm-hmm. Having that all mapped out gives you a very clear idea of exactly what you can and cannot pay out of the gate.
This brings up a couple of of important ideas, I think, that I hammer a lot as well. One is that, I'll get people come up and say to me, hey Mago, what do you think about this particular advertising thing? And a local high school is producing calendars, should I put my little ad on there? And my answer almost always is, well, are you doing the basics? Are you doing the bread and butter? Are you doing the things that we've shown you we know work no matter what, are fairly inexpensive, and you should get them set up? That's the first thing. And then my second answer is, I have no idea, go test it. If you have the money to run it appropriately and run whatever marketing campaign it happens to be effectively, go test it out. But you need to make those judgments, because there's all kinds of ways to get your name out there right now. So testing your own stuff is one important thing. Another important thing to understand is that never in the history of advertising has there been a time when it has been easier to track results. And you think about it, 30, 40, 50 years ago, having 2 phone numbers for your business was a really fairly difficult thing to do. You had to have people bring coupons in to prove that they saw your ad in a newspaper or something like that. Nowadays, the amount of information that we can find out from somebody who's just filled out a form or clicked on a Facebook ad or something is almost to the level of creepy. I mean, there's so much information out there.
Sure.
So not knowing whether or not your marketing campaign is working is just simply not a good excuse anymore.
No, we use the one that I've used the most is which I'm not affiliated with, is a company called CallRail.
Okay.
And I think it's like $30 a month or something like that to start. But what that allows you to do is that allows you to generate as many tracking numbers as you need for however many channels that you have. The way that I structure it is that I go through for every channel, it gets it, and it even adds on that channel. So we may have a Facebook ad, but we have different genres. So we may have something for inflammation, something for back pain, something for knee pain, something for neuropathy. Every one of those has its own individual number, so that every campaign is tracked directly to a phone number that I can say, this is how much we spent on this campaign, this is how many phone calls we got.